What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about The Witcher 3's upgrade to next-gen/PC and when it's going to release. So we know from CD Projekt Red that it's going to release this fall, and it was great to hear that. I personally had some worries that maybe it would be delayed into 2022, specifically with CD Projekt Red, and specifically really with any game at this point. Delays are okay. Their delays are kind of what we should all be expecting from pretty much every game nowadays. Right? But hearing that it would be coming out in the fall is very exciting. Okay, now the fall is a big area, and I want to try to lessen that and figure out when the game is actually going to come out. And my answer to it is not actually going to be the fall. I'm going to almost call their bluff while pulling some technicalities, and I'm going to say right off in the beginning of the video, and then I'll defend myself. I think December 10th is going to be the day that The Witcher 3 comes out. If I had to give myself more days, I would say other days in December. If I had unlimited kind of selections, I'd pick other days in December. I feel like there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, that's not the fall. It's probably the first thing I should say, right? The fall, normally, historically, with games, means September through November. Once you get to the end of November, okay, Black Friday, Thanksgiving in terms of like America, but gaming just in general, when you get to the second half / the very end of November, you're now calling it holiday. That's normally what it is. You're calling it the holiday season, and that goes right up to Christmas. You can have games that come out in December that would still be considered holiday, right? When you get into January, you would consider yourself winter. Sometimes winter can also mean holiday. That's generally the verbiage that's used in the gaming industry, if people didn't know. And that comes along really with reason number one, and that is not rushing things. So why do I think December? Well, it gives them literally the most time you possibly could without delaying it till next year. And it's a cop-out kind of thing, but in reality, it's true, right? If they do it in January, yeah, they could do it January 5th, but it would still be 2022. And, they've gone through the delay process before. They know what it looks like when you delay a game. They also know what happens when you put out a game that's not finished yet. You know what I mean? And everybody kind of knows that, but CD Projekt Red knows that seemingly better than anybody. So to them, I would say, if you think you can do November, fantastic. I think November would obviously be month number 2 that I would predict if you're, again, giving me unlimited choices. But I think even if you set your sights for November, I think eventually it would still come out in December anyway because of maybe internal delays. You know what I mean? The polish. Let's get this thing right. And I've talked about it before. This is important. This is literally, besides the patches to Cyberpunk, this is step 1 of getting people back on your side. There's no other way of doing it besides making sure that all of your future games are like bulletproof. And by that I mean, Witcher 3 comes out and there's not day one bugs. It doesn't not run. All of that stuff. Like, it needs to work. I'm not saying it needs to work perfectly, but it needs to work as perfectly as you possibly can make it. You know what I mean? So that would be the first reason for me, is that, you give it as much time as humanly possible to be worked on. Reason number 2, and maybe the most important, in fact, I think actually this could be the only other reason that I have, is Witcher Season 2 premieres on December 17th. Now, I obviously want to hear from you guys in the comments when you think it would come out. I would wager a bet, if I were to do a poll right now, or you guys can tell me in the comments too, if you were to ask, I think a lot of people may say December 17th. Like the game would match the date of the show. And I think that would just be like, okay, have as much Witcher power as you can all on the same day. Now, the 17th is a Friday. Technically, you could have this game come out on the 14th, which would be the Tuesday, and historically, those are really the only 2 days. Sometimes games come out on Thursdays, but those are pretty rare. I would normally expect a Tuesday or a Friday. So it could come out the Tuesday, and then the show comes out Friday. But for me, it's that the game is really going to go well with the show, and I feel like I would personally want both to come out around the same time. Again, though, to be very clear, I don't want them to both come out the same day. And I think everybody knows that. You know what I mean? Or at least the people that are controlling, when these things come out, I think they know that. And really, I would argue, my own personal opinion, it would boil down to as simple as this. yes, you could buy the game and give them money the same day as you watch the show, but I feel like one is going to take away from the other. If you buy the game, you're going to play the game, which means you're not going to watch the show because you literally can't do two things at once. Or you're going to watch the show the first day it comes out and you're not going to play the game. You're not going to buy the game. Or maybe you bought the game, but you're watching the show and you're not playing the game. You know what I mean? And like, again, sounds simple. Maybe it's something that they truly don't care about. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm not saying that this is right. It could very well not be right. But in my opinion, that's how I think it would work. It would be the same. Almost the same thing, and actually games have done this in the past. 2 years ago, Star Wars Battlefront, when they did their Rise of Skywalker kind of update. Now, yeah, that was, I guess, leading, like they wanted you to do that before the movie. That was kind of the purpose. But if you did that update the day the movie came out, well, people are seeing the movie. Again, a movie is actually a little bit different because it's only a couple hours. You get in, you get out. For the show, I mean, now, honestly, I don't know how many episodes there are. I haven't looked. If there's 8 or 10, however long, if the show's like 7 to 10 hours long, that's your entire day. You're not going to be able to play the game. So I know I'm hanging on this point quite a lot, but that's why I would say it wouldn't be the same day as the show. So I don't think the game would come out the 17th. I would say the 10th, which is 1 week before on that Friday, or even the Tuesday right before, so the 14th. I think both of those make a lot of sense because you really, and it actually, like, the game's, I think, going to do well no matter what because it is an upgrade. You get it for free if you had the last gen, but you also could just buy it, and I think people will. Like, there will be people that have never owned the game before that do buy it. So you're going to have excitement and hype at an all-time high for this franchise, and then to hit it again, whether it's a couple days or a week or so after that with the show, you know what I mean? You have like an all-time high of excitement. So I think that's their strategy. I think that's a good strategy personally. And, even the anti thing, right? Going, say you do in October. Well, I don't know. Like, well, if the game's ready and wants to come out again, I think they'd both do well on their own. If you put the game out in October and the show came out in December, I think both would do completely fine. The game, there was no game with the show season 1 that came out, right? So obviously it can do okay. But again, mixed in with giving them as much time as humanly possible. Also, maybe just flat out not believing that they can get it done by, October or November, and December is like the earliest they can finish it, which is kind of my personal belief. One final thing I want to throw in, kind of a scary thing that maybe they want to avoid, okay, but they may not have a choice, is December 10th. I knew the date sounded familiar. December 10th is actually when Cyberpunk came out last year. So if they release The Witcher this year on December 10th, which is a Friday, because I think Cyberpunk came out the Thursday last year, it would be a 1-year anniversary of that game. So that may not, I don't know. That's going to be a day, I think, generally of hate of CD Projekt Red, because it's just going to be a lot of people kind of bashing them of like the 1-year, anniversary of what happened. If they do The Witcher, like, does that hurt it? Do they care? Is that something they even like think about? I don't know. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, when do you think the game is going to release? Make sure, if you haven't already, you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. Leave a like would definitely help this video out. If you guys want to follow us over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Link for it is always in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.